Lions TV, this is your post-match analysis video for yesterday's 1-1 draw against Nottingham Forest at the Den. I wasn't sure whether to do a video today. Two reasons. As you can see, I'm on the road. I'm actually at work, so that played a part in it, but I'm coming to you live and exclusive from the old jam jar. So the other reason I wasn't sure is I've been saying this a lot lately. I do live streams now, 2.5 hours worth, and my full-time reactions from the Den used to be a minute, 2 minute. Now I find myself talking for 6-7 minutes. So it's hard, especially with the way the team's been performing, to then want to do a video again, to not relay some information and some content I've already given you. Yes, I want views. Yes, I want my channel to grow. But at the same time, I don't want to just swamp you with pointless, repetitive content, because it's no good. You'll get views out of it, but it's going to become boring. So I've been doing Monday Club and Thursday Club recently and cramming a midweek game and a weekend game into one analysis, into one video. Partly because I don't overload content, but partly as well because, it's just not a lot's been happening. I'm struggling to scratch in my head to get enough content that I haven't already covered in the live stream or a 6-7 minute post-match for a full-time reaction to talk about. However, yesterday I feel fully warrants one. Let's have a look, by the way, at the starting 11 first and foremost. It was unchanged, of course, as I recommended, as I wanted and suggested. I'm not saying the gaffer watches the channel, but I said Gary Rowett, there was a way he could keep his job, in my opinion, and that was, and it's going to be, I'm not a narcissist, by the way. I'm not self-obsessed, and I do say all the time on the channel, he did what I said, he did what I wanted. I do understand that a lot of you feel the same way too. Some of you don't. Sometimes I'm not right, sometimes I am, but I can only speak for myself. That's why I say it. I'm not oblivious, I'm not arrogant to other fans' opinions. I know a lot of you are thinking the same thing I was, and I know a lot of you aren't, and that's the glorious game that is football, makes this channel and our club tick. But when I say things from my sense, that's it, because it is from my point of view. But in my point of view and from my perspective, I said to Rowett, two ways he can keep his job. One is to go back to a Millwall side with Millwall-type players and play away a Millwall team should, and don't be stubborn. Drop these unlike Millwall players and bring in some, maybe not our best players technically, but players that are willing to fight for the club, players that understand the club, players that epitomise everything that a Millwall player is and should be. And he did that. Yesterday in the second phase, I said, the only way, again, he's got to learn from his mistakes. He's got to stay with the same side. And he did do that yesterday. In fairness to him, I wanted an unchanged 11. And when he named that unchanged 11, I went, fuck me, brilliant. Great, we're in with a chance. Even though knowing, looking at that team on paper, it isn't the best 11. But it's the 11 that's going to get Gary Rowett to the transfer window. And hopefully then he can do what he wants to do. And bring in players that he wants to bring in. As I already said, he's not going to get a chance to bring in too many players. And the reason why is because, we haven't got that much money. You can't change the entire structure of a team. And I think he's half tried it with Woods and half tried it. Bennett's not doing too bad. But these players he has brought in, they're players to play in a different way than Rowett wants to. So does he know, a Millwall player and a Millwall player? And we'll go back to him. And I didn't really want him back at the club. But Jason Malumbi is a Millwall type player, for one. Does Rowett... Is he aware of these players? Because I think he might go out again and try and get more Woods-type players, more Bennett-type players. And again, I don't think that that's the sort of players that could possibly cut the mustard at Mill. I've reserved judgment on Mason Bennett for now. I'm not talking about him personally. I'm talking about his type of play and the character that he is. As I said, getting back to my first point of why I felt today deserved the video, and Kenny summed it up in his full-time video, and he was spot on. We had a right fucking go yesterday. We had a right go. And even at 1-1, I got a sense of what it was like when Rowett was first in charge, reflecting back to the Charlton game and other games. He wasn't happy with that. He wanted to win, and he was willing to pursue that in any way possible. And it was refreshing to see. And it was a brilliant battling performance. You can't take anything away from the players yesterday or the manager. And let's get into the game. The first chance of springing some wine, you know what I'm talking about. Ball into the box. Brilliant work from Tom Bradshaw. Cuts it back. Jed turns, shoots left-footed. It's an absolute stonewall penalty, and I can't say anything more than that. I said in my full-time reaction what I want to say, so I don't want to cover old ground, but someone has to be held accountable for these terrible decisions, and VAR has to be in the Championship. For those going, oh, you would want VAR, you busy YouTube mug. Yes, I do want VAR, and it's not one decision. It's a dozen. It's more than a handful. I was going to say it's a handful. It's a dozen at least decisions that we should have had yesterday. Swansea, 2 penalties at least. Blackburn, 3 penalties at least. It's absolutely ridiculous. So for those of you saying you don't want VAR, think about what you've always said and what I don't like to get on board with, but now I am definitely coming to terms with. The refs are against us. It's just not right. It's just not right what is going on with these refs. And on that basis, think about what we always say and then realise how we can get an advantage from that. That's all I'm looking for always, the advantage. Something that can give us the advantage and get us in a better position. VAR has to be in that. The referee needs to be held accountable for that. Sit down and say, okay, this, and this. Why have you not given that as a stonewall penalty? Ridiculous. And that, again, in fairness to Rowett, that could have changed the game. You know, we get that penalty, which we should have done. We dispatched that penalty, and we're 1-0 up. We're 1-0 up, and the game's a different game from there. You know, you can only do what you can do, get in the positions to score. We've created a chance there, an opportunity to take the lead, and the ref hasn't given it to us. In the laws of the game, that should have been a penalty. And, you know, as a result, the pendulum swings. But I feel it's another good performance, solid performance. As I said, not technically our best players on the pitch, so I wasn't expecting a masterclass in football. But what I was expecting is exactly what I got in difficult conditions. Just a passionate, just a rugged, determined, aggressive, in-your-face, tackles flying in, rain coming down. I really enjoyed watching the game yesterday. And as I said, I felt we was a better side. The only time they got near our goal in the first half, 2 opportunities. A header that was offside, the comeback off the post, and the one into the box where the guy tries to cut it back, can't wrap his foot around it enough, and Bolkowski has to get down and save it, his near post. Other than that, we was a better side. We got a lot of balls into a lot of good areas yesterday. And the 2 forwards, or the 2 strikers, or the one behind the one, whatever you want to call it, did well. Bavarsson looks like, I don't know what's happened. He looks like a completely different player. And that just shows you, you know, what confidence can do, because he's got a goal, and then from there he's gone on. In the first half yesterday, Bavarsson was the striker, Bradshaw was the 10. In the second half, Bradshaw was a striker and Bavarsson was a 10. He was dropping off Teddy Sheringham-esque and slotting passes in. So, brilliant from those two. And again, if you'd have said to me at the start of the season or 10 games ago, we're going to have Bavarsson and Bradshaw as our as our partnership up front with Sean Williams and Lennon in the midfield, I said you was mad. But it is what it is, and it's working. And, you know, be careful what you wish for, because we wanted other players out the club, other players in the club, and these two are now. I've always backed Bradshaw. Let's make this very clear as well for the decision. One of the decisions I got right. I'm not saying I get everything right. Bradshaw, I've backed and I've backed and I've backed. He's a poacher. He will score goals if given opportunity to score in the box, and he did that yesterday. However, as well as them two played, we did get a lot of good balls into the box, and I don't feel, for whatever reason, good defended at times from Forest. You know, getting in amongst it, especially from set pieces. Excuse me. Our set pieces are done now, by the way. Our set pieces are done. We're never going to score from a corner ever again. Cooper's trying to pull off at the penalty spot back towards the edge of the box. On one occasion, he does head it goalwards. But, yeah, our set pieces are done, and I don't think no matter what we do now, we're never going to score from a set piece again, which is good, because we need to explore other avenues to find other ways of opening doors and getting goals. And that, you know, the new strike force, with the deadly duo, the double B, Bavarsson and Bradshaw, looks like they could be a good thing. Second half starts. We went in at half-time a better side. Again, without too much real action at either end. But it was a good, as I said, it hasn't always got to be a good, enjoyable game of football by seeing good football. Sometimes it can just be a scrap, a battle, and I enjoyed it. And in the second half, we score early. Bradshaw picks up a loose ball. He was a danger all day. Slots in Bavarsson. And as I'm always saying, be directly running. Bavarsson has got nothing else in his mind other than getting into the box. The defender tries to narrow the angle. Bob cuts in, cuts it back, and there's the poacher, Bradshaw, on the end of it. 2 goals in 2 games. I did, by the way, I completely forgot I did until full time when someone told me. Predicted a 1-1 draw yesterday with Tom Bradshaw to get our goal. I didn't bet on it. I wish I had done now, but I don't know what odds I would have got. Something like 35-1 around that, probably 25s, but I didn't back it. So it's all by the by, and there is no Christmas funds on that basis. Straight after, I'm doing a live stream. I'm firing a gun. I'm jumping around, reading the comments, and there's an equaliser. I didn't even see it. I see it go in. I see him slotted past Bart. It's a very rare mistake. Well, not so very rare. 5 weeks ago, very rare. Now, not so rare. Mistake at the back. Ball over the top. It beats Cooper somehow. It's all 6'9", 95 of him. Goes over his head. Drops in. Hutchinson comes across the cover, but then doesn't really attempt to make any contact at the ball. I don't really know what Hutch is doing there. It goes through Hutch, and then by this point, it's nearly at Bart's feet. Striker nips in. 1-1. People pointing fingers at Bart. It wasn't Bart's fault. It's on Hutchinson's foot. He's got to clear it. I don't know what he was thinking, but he just seems to run across the flight of it and go, oh, he's got that, and he just sort of steps across it and lets it go past him. I don't know whether he thought he'd heard Bart call, but as a defender, if the ball's there to be dealt with, even if the keeper's calling, get rid of it and have the row with the keeper afterwards. But at least you ain't conceded. A severe, as Pete said in his fan cam afterwards, a severe lack in concentration, a rare one at the back, and Gary Rowett will be very disappointed. I feel he'll be happy. A lot happier over the last 2 games. 4 points in those last 2 games. You can't argue with that. So, but I feel after working so hard to get in front of the game, and now we know we can't score many, to concede the lead that quickly in that fashion. He would have been disappointed with. Almost straight away again, we're up the other end. Teddy Bavarsson pulls off Sheringham-esque and slots in Jed. And listen, guy on Twitter, I think it's Jamie Pryor, does the alternate commentary. He's retweeted that and said, if that's Bavarsson, you know, it'd be all over the timeline. Or if it wasn't Jed, it'd be all over the timeline, one or the other. But he was absolutely spot on. And I just don't know what Jed's doing sometimes. Sometimes he looks, you know, Premier League. Other times he looks Sunday League. I don't know what he's doing. And he's just got to shoot or slot Bradshaw in. No, he's got to shoot. If he's not confident in shooting, then he's got to put it on a plate for Bradshaw. It's unselfish from him, but he doesn't really do either or, and he ends up kicking it wide. And again, you can't blame the manager for that. I've been very quick to blame the manager in previous weeks for decisions he's making. In this instance, the refs cost him, and Jed's cost him there for that chance. I'm sorry, but he has. And that could have been, you know, that would have been whatever it was, the first win since, well, our second win at home all season. Our first win at home in 7 games. I think we've won something like 3 in 20 at the Den now. So it's just not good enough. And I can't see a turning point in it. And I'm going to criticise. As good as it was yesterday, as improved as it has been, the problem I've got is this. And I'm going to say it in a way, and people are going to say, oh, you're too negative, don't stop moaning. I'm not moaning. Last 2 games have been good for the reasons I believe that Rowett has agreed with me, or Rowett's done the same, not agreed with me, Rowett's done the same things that I was thinking and said. Change the team to a Millwall type team with Millwall type players and keep a winning side. Now, again, for me, he's got to keep the same side again the next game we play, which is on Boxing Day against Bournemouth, I believe. So that's going to be a very difficult test, and we could or couldn't get rolled there. But we'll get onto that one later. He's got to keep the same team again. But what I'm getting back to the point is, I feel Bavarsson did very well, man of the match for me. Ryan Leonard's doing really well. Some great shots from range, set 2 up against Bristol City and saved 1. Bradshaw, 2 in 2. You know, these players, Sean Williams, again, I love Sean Williams. Didn't think he played as well yesterday, but still better than Ryan Woods would have. I feel this is the absolute best you're going to get out of these players. And I feel at the minute that Rowett's had the chat, he's made the changes, and it's almost like when a manager gets sacked and a new manager comes in, a team goes to that temporary raise the level where they up their game and then they falter back down, their levels drop again. I've got a horrible feeling, if I'm honest, that this is the best you're going to get out of them in a minute. And the best at the minute is fine, but they're not going to get this in every game. I said this to my dad earlier. I think that's the best you're going to get out of these players. And he said, well, that's all right, that's all we want. But I feel like they're riding a little bit of a wave. They're buzzing their back in the team. There's a little bit of rejuvenated team togetherness, and I think their levels could well drop. So I hope I'm wrong, but I can see that coming. But again, you know, yesterday, no complaints. Gary Rowett went for it. He went for the same team, which is the right thing to do. He went for the win again. He didn't hold back in points when we could have settled for a point. He kept pushing for that win. And it's good that he did it again, but he also did it because we need this off our back now at the Den. We need it off our back. Listen, COVID's here and it's here to stay now. And I can't see it being the same for a long, long time. So we've got to get past this mentality. Oh, it's because we're the 12th man. Let's cut the bollocks now. We need to win football matches at home. That is the end of the story. And I think, well, of course it's going to be. It's on my mind. It's probably on yours. And it will definitely be on the gaffers. And that's why yesterday, if we can get 1 over the line, could we keep things ticking again? I don't know. We tested their keeper from range a lot yesterday, which I liked. We was a bit more direct with our play at times, getting it forward, which I liked. As I said, I like pretty football, but it's not always possible, especially with these conditions and the players we got out there. But can't argue with it yesterday. I enjoyed watching the game of football, and that's all I really want to do. I want to sit there and go, yeah, I enjoyed that yesterday. Today, I'm proud of the boys. I'm proud of their performance. I'm proud to be a Millwall fan. That's all I could say yesterday. And unlucky to Gary Rowett because the ref wants to fuck him over, and then Jed should have won it for us, but he didn't. And it ends 1-1 at the Den. I nearly said the City Ground. The Den. The City Ground was the last game I went to, and we won 3-0 there. Matt Smith, by the way, just before I finish, is a weird one. I just completely isolated out of it now. A main man, and now all of a sudden gone out of the equation. So I don't know how the big dog's feeling about that, but I can't think he's too impressed. The car is starting to steam up, as you can see, so I'm going to end it there because I do need to go back to work. This week, today's Sunday. It seems weird because I'm at work and it's a Sunday, so I can't work out what day's what. Today, you're watching this video right now, hopefully, in your thousands. Monday, I'm going to try and get Andy Marshall on for a Lions Lounge lockdown. Tuesday, Ben Marshall put me off Friday night and he's rearranged it for Tuesday. So I'm going to try and get both of them done and then release them back to back. Have a Marshall Christmas, have a Merry Marshall Christmas and release those both on Christmas Day at the same time, double upload, just thanks to watch over the Christmas period. And also we've got our Patreon quiz on the 23rd. If you're not a patron, you can become a patron for £2.50. The link is in the description below. Per month, you get Lions Lounge lockdowns from January, 1 week before they come on YouTube. I also do loads of giveaways. We're doing a quiz, prizes for 1st to 5th. If you come 1st, 2nd or 3rd in the quiz, you get a brand spanking new Millwall shirt from this season. Whichever kit you want, whatever size you want, I'm buying it. Merry Christmas with the Patreon money and the money we currently have been getting from our live streams. But yeah, that's it. I think no football now. That is an end of football for us in 2020. I'm not even thinking of football in 2020. I'm just thinking of 2020 finishing in general. I hope you all have a good Christmas and get through it the best you can in these very, very difficult conditions. I will see you on Wednesday the 23rd at 8 p.m. if you're a patron. www.patreon.com/Lions TV. If not, as I said, I'll be back on Christmas Eve for a pre-match prediction for our away trip, a very difficult away trip to Bournemouth. Please subscribe to Lions TV. Merry Christmas. Come on, you Lions.